How's it going, guys? Welcome to our coverage of the 2021 Monkey Island Open from Dynamic Discs. I am Danny Lindahl, joined by Anthony Vandenheuvel, and this round is going to be a little interesting. We have some people that you might not have seen on coverage before. We have Isaac Heinen out of Kansas City, Matt Polson, Josiah Opolka, Kyle Divelbiss, and John Jones. And if you've played Peter Pan Park before, the course at Peter Pan, it's usually not the hardest course in town, but on this day we had a ton of wind, up to 40 miles an hour, I heard. So it's definitely going to play about 10 times harder in these conditions. So let's see how these guys attack the course. The hole one here is a par 3, 375 feet. These drone flyovers are from a few years ago, so the course has been updated. The fence there is actually a little bit taller. But for the most part, players are just going to throw a big hyzer. They're just going to smash something over the baseball field and let it fade towards the basket.
Yep, they've got a kind of a pushing wind where you would normally say that it's helping, but with how strong the wind is, I feel like it's going to be funneling drives towards those big trees just because it's such a strong wind. Looks like that's what's happening to Isaac right here.
Yeah, that's honestly not a bad miss, though, because from there, you don't have to worry about running the 2. You just pitch it up under the basket and take your 3, which is definitely the way to do it in these conditions.
Definitely.
This disc is very stable from Matt here. Wow.
That might be the most overstable disc on the world.
Especially in this wind and a tailwind, man.
Yep.
Here's Josiah.
Something that just got cranked.
Yeah. It's always
Holy
scary.
cow.
That's a great shot.
Wow.
Right past the basket. And you can see how much it skipped just because of the wind. That grass is not skippy. Mm-hmm. It's just always concerning whenever the right side of the disc dips down in that right to left wind, because you have to clear the baseball field, the fence on the other side. This is really high.
Yeah, this is an EMAC truth from Kyle. He was warming up on this hole, and he was telling me that his drivers kept stabling out. The wind kept pushing him left, and he threw the EMAC truth just to throw it, and was like 20 feet. And so he was like, wow, I mean, I guess I have to throw it now. And so
this
he
is
did.
John's here. This is scary low, but it just barely eked over the fence.
Cleared it.
Made it safe.
Wow, he even went long, too.
Yeah. So here you can see if you're short, you might have to get a little bit creative, but it's not too bad of an upshot. So in these conditions, definitely laying up is a good play. But he did leave himself with a right to left wind there. That's something I always play for in the wind, is I always try to get a tailwind putt like Isaac has done here.
Yep.
Kyle for
just
2.
Outside. Yeah, that's so smart to just lay that up and not risk anything. Just lay it up and take your 3.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
What a roll. Oh,
wow.
my goodness. You can see the wind's just keeping that up. That's so brutal, man.
Gosh, he was a couple inches low on his putt, and now is 45, 50.
Yeah.
Back uphill, back into the wind.
Oh, and there it goes again. Okay, it sat that time.
Man.
This is Josiah.
Went. Yeah, he went way deep. Look at that.
Jeez, that's a stable disc he's putting with. Matt for his 2 didn't drop in the tailwind.
Yeah.
I guess it was a little right to left for him.
So this is to save his 4.
Oh, just off the cage.
Brutal start.
Isaac here for his par, which feels like a birdie.
Right? Yeah, a 2 on this hole normally feels great, and in the wind that they were having, a 3 is excellent. You're so happy with that.
It's all about managing expectations. John with a
unfortunate
bogey save
for
after
John.
his
Just
roll.
got a bad break there with the wind catching that second putt.
Josiah in for par.
Putting that one home.
Yeah. Gotta have some force behind it. Gotta have some conviction. It's so nice having a no-stress putt in these conditions anytime you can.
Right. Yeah.
Hole 2 here is a par 3, 348 feet. It's got a low ceiling. It plays pretty uphill. In these winds, with the right to left wind, I bet most of these players are going to go just big hyzer and let the wind carry the disc and push it back inbounds. But the tunnel shot is there in most conditions. Looks like Isaac's lining up the hyzer. And that's just a little early.
I wonder if that comes from just not... I mean, if there's no wind, that's typically not the play that you'll see. So I wonder if that comes from not practicing the hyzer line and just pulling it too tight.
There's Josiah. He's got kind of a look there, but I don't know that you run it in these conditions.
Right.
Kyle here. That looked low out of his hand, but there's so much wind that just jumped up.
Wow, this is great.
This needs to stay in bounds.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez, yeah, that was pretty close to going out of bounds, but it did end up staying safe. John here, similar line to Kyle's.
Yep, just a little bit shorter.
The Goldilocks between them two is going to be in the basket. That's all you got to do. There's Matt here. Was he trying to throw the hyzer and just early released?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looked like he was lining up that outside hyzer, and it just came out early. Still worked out for him.
Yeah.
Isaac is kind of pinched on that tree. It looks like, wow, what a wind bounce.
What an elevator, wow.
Oh, man.
Short. It looked like that one might have come out early as well. There, he's laying up to the tailwind side of the basket this time. Maybe that's an adjustment.
John also just laying that up.
I wish I knew more about these guys' bags so I could tell you what discs they're throwing, but I mean, I know Kyle putts with Wardens.
Yeah, I know Isaac is Discraft sponsored, Matt is MVP, and Josiah's, as you can see, is sponsored by Millennium. I believe John is unsponsored.
Mm-hmm. Solid par. Pars feel like birdies out here, man.
Yeah, if you come out of here shooting even in these conditions, that's. I know Isaac came into this round 3 down. That was smoking hot.
Mm-hmm.
If you go even in these conditions, you're going to be very happy.
Yeah, you're doing stuff. John taking his time on a tap in.
Full routine.
All right, moving on to hole 3 here. This is 292-foot par 3, and like I said, these drone flyovers are from a few years ago, so the basket is actually currently on the right side there. For most people, it's going to be just a forehand. You got to keep it underneath those branches and just let it skip up to the basket, but there is a backhand hyzer line if you fancy that one.
Yeah, and now they're going to be having an opposite wind. This is a ripping left to right wind standing on the tee. You don't feel it a ton because of that big bush.
Yeah.
But down in that fairway, it is gusting.
Yeah, past that cedar is where it really starts to amp up. Oh, that was a good angle if it was just a little bit lower.
Yep.
John here, he's lining up the hyzer line. It looks high, but with this left to right wind, it might get smashed down. Got smashed down by branches instead.
Those branches are just so grabby.
Is this a mid-range?
It kind of looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah. That's a
that does not look
shot.
like a mid-range.
No, that skip, yeah.
Big ol' skip.
Regardless, it's a good shot. It's kind of what you're looking for, but the just a little too much skip. Isaac with an early release here ends up behind that cedar. I'm well acquainted with that tree there. It's not a relationship that I treasure particularly, but you know.
Yep. Kyle, that was a super soft judge. He said he's going to be throwing that thing all over today, just getting it to hit and stick.
Nice. That actually was a pretty good run from John.
Yeah, John putts with daggers, which are super floaty, and that could come in handy in the wind for sure.
That kind of scuba shot from Isaac there just didn't pan to the right at all, which is really surprising in this wind.
Yeah.
This needs to sit.
Roll out.
There you go. That'll be a look.
Look from there.
And Isaac's putt just didn't drop at all.
Yep.
And that one did.
Back.
Jeez, it's so hard to tell what they're going to do sometimes. Just a small change in the nose angle completely changes what your disc is going to do.
Yep.
Especially when the wind's this strong.
So this is Josiah for 2, huh?
Yeah, wow. That's great birdie.
Great birdie.
That's strokes on folks.
It's crazy. You look at this hole in calm conditions and you think, all right, this should be a star frame. We should all get this. And now it's like a 2 feels excellent. Feels like you just gained a stroke on everybody. If not multiple strokes like you just did on Isaac there.
And Matt. And it's not like the wind kind of makes everybody look like they're bad, but they're not. It's just that windy.
It is just that windy.
Moving on to hole 4 here. This one's a par 3, 365 feet, and it's kind of a tunnel shot. The beginning isn't very tight, but the ending really is. So you'll see people throw like a gentle hyzer down the right side that fades gently, or they'll try and just gap it the whole way and just hope not to fade into that creek too hard. But they are throwing into a headwind on this hole. It's kind of a left to right headwind.
Yeah, it makes this shot so tricky because you want something that's going to go straight and settle down. And in a headwind or a left to right headwind, you're thinking something overstable, but that's not what that's going to do. It's going to hit the ground and jump.
This is a beat up Lucid X Enforcer from Kyle.
Yeah, very beat up.
That's actually really good.
Yep.
You're not upset about that bush there. I'm also well acquainted with that one. John here. And see, the thing is, the wind kind of dies as soon as you hit the trees. Mm-hmm. So you need the beginning of an overstable disc, but the ending of an understable disc, which is really tricky to do.
Yeah, I think a lot of the shots that look great out of their hand are going to end up in that bush where Kyle and John did.
Mm-hmm. That was actually a really good line out of Matt. It looked really good. Just ended up a little bit shorter of where he was looking. Another early release from Heisen.
Early release, yep. And that is not where you want to be in this creek.
I know sometimes if the wind is strong enough and you hold the disc at the wrong angle as you're like winding up, the wind will like blow it and change the angle. Yep. It's the most frustrating thing. It's a good upshot from, I believe, Josiah there. Here's Matt for his 2.
It does have a look.
Oh.
That's a 2 I feel good about in calm conditions. In these conditions, again, I'll say it again, it's like that's almost playing like an eagle.
Mm-hmm.
John just off as well.
This is Kyle for his 2.
Looks like he's got a window.
What a putt.
2.
That's fantastic. Talk about strokes on folks.
No kidding. That's going to put him into solo first once Josiah, if he can convert this par. Yep. So, sorry, they will be tied for first.
Still, tied for first is exciting, especially when the conditions are as volatile as they are.
Yes. Yeah.
Anybody can take a 7 at any moment, and you never know who it's going to be.
100%.
Feels like 7's like a serial killer stalking the group. Hole 5 here. Yeah, just waiting, lurking in the OB. Hole 5 here is a par 3, 395 feet, and just a super straight shot with a gap and a mando off the tee, so you can't take a big forehand. But really, you're trying to get something that'll flip enough to get you straight, and you don't want to fade out too far to the left. Most people are just going to flip something up and let it fade. Kyle here, this is another Lucid X Enforcer hitting the pro double mando. I was shocked. I don't know how you find brakes that good in this economy, but he turned on the parking brake there.
That is not only a risky play, but just coming in at that angle, skipping towards OB. Apparently, Josiah just hit a ghost tree.
Yeah.
But that angle that Kyle's was coming in at, 9 times out of 10, that's skipping straight into the river.
And this is kind of a typical play from John here. Just something that's never in bringing the OB into play. And he's outside the circle, but wide open. Nothing to really worry about. Matt here yanked this one. That had some heat on it.
He put everything into that, but maybe just needed a little bit less than everything.
That's another pretty typical play.
There's a good shot from Isaac.
In no wind, you try and get it to flip a little bit more. But in this wind, just take your 3.
Yep.
So if you do end up OB, this is the drop zone. This is actually the short tee pad that we've had for years. And it's just a big forehand from there, which Matt definitely has in his arsenal.
Yes. Yeah, I think it plays probably somewhere around 300 feet or so.
Yeah.
From the drop zone.
Just a
gosh.
Shot. It's almost like another roll like John.
Yeah, it was like the disc knew where the basket was and then rolled the complete opposite direction. That was brutal.
Isaac from downtown. Just low. John here, probably 50 feet at least.
Yeah.
Just no chains needed.
Yeah, I don't need those. You can take those out.
Yeah.
What wind? What chains? I'm good.
No, just jam a 2 on one of the hardest holes on the course.
Huge putt. Kyle getting big putted for sure.
He had the want on it, though.
Yep.
Definitely not as mad for missing high.
No lift.
This is Josiah. He actually went deep of the basket. Give it some body English.
Yep.
Isaac for his 3. Ooh, caught the right side there.
Low right, but hey, it's
Corner
in.
pocket.
Yeah.
Matt with a double. That can happen quick on this hole.
It really can. He didn't play it that poorly. It just pulled his tee shot a little bit right and turned it into a double like that.
Hole 6 is a par 3, 280 feet. It's actually not underneath the tree. This is another one where the basket's in a different spot. It's a new pin as far as I know. It's just a straight shot off the tee. You could throw a putter. Some people will throw mid-ranges for the ceiling or even like a fairway driver, but it's just traditional straight shot. This is a little early from John, but it skips pretty straight and ends up giving him an inside the circle look at it.
Yep, this is going to play kind of the inverse of hole 4, where you don't feel the wind at the beginning, and then once the disc gets up to that top of that hill and crests past those trees, there's a ton of wind. There's a wide open field there, and the wind just comes howling. Kyle, I'm not sure, I don't know what he threw, but it was the perfect disc for this shot.
That was a fantastic shot. And then Matt also had a really good one right after him. No, Matt hasn't thrown yet. That was Kyle's shot. I get confused. It's Josiah there.
A little bit from Josiah.
If that kicks left, it's a putt, but it just kicked right.
Yep.
Here's Matt's shot.
Matt. Looking great out of his hand. Yeah. Looks like it's inside the circle.
Yeah, looks like I'm a fortune teller. Didn't even know.
Oh, look at this. Framed up. Go.
Oh. And you like the little bit of Annie there because the wind's gonna float it.
Yep. Oh.
See, I mean, do you see how much that putt dropped?
Look at that flag.
Oh, right side.
John. Man.
Isaac tapping in his par. Josiah with a par.
They've all completed the hole, and Kyle hasn't even putted yet. That's how good that drive was. Unbelievable tee shot.
You gotta love John going through his routine on the tap-ins.
Uh-huh.
So, you don't want to miss one of those.
Yeah, in these conditions, I respect the play.
Solid 2 from Kyle there.
Huge.
Hole 7 here is par 3, 358 feet. It's pretty much just a wide open hyzer, but the trick on this one is the basket. The basket has these guardian trees around it, so you want to make sure that you end up lined up with a gap there rather than pinched off. And there is actually OB water deep. I believe Kyle's throwing a putter here.
I'm not sure what that is.
It's smash, that's for sure.
Oh no, and there's that water you were talking about.
Yeah, the Cypress knees just caught a bad bounce.
God,
barely trickled OB. John here's going big hyzer. And this is such a tailwind here that you would think it would be easy to get the distance, but it just smashes everything down so fast and takes all the glide out of it really quickly.
Yeah, I wonder if John got a little bit scared seeing Kyle go long, that he maybe pulled his back a little bit, and that's why he came up short. Isaac didn't care and just said, I'm going for it. Josiah looked to do the same thing and just slammed.
I feel like no conditions, that's parked. No wind, that's parked.
If that doesn't get dropped, that's at least 20, 30 feet farther.
Another absolute smash out of Matt. He's got an arm on him, doesn't he?
Little skip. That's great.
Oh, man.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Fantastic shot. No stress putt in these conditions. That's a relief.
God,
what?
Oh my.
Smart play from Kyle and still got a skip.
Just trying to lay up for the 4.
Yeah.
And the wind said, hey, check this out. Ugh.
John's been so close to so many of these 2s.
Yep. Isaac from range. Oh no. Out of his hand, I thought he was laying that up, and it just kept floating.
Matt with a fantastic 2.
Yeah, that's great.
Kyle able to convert for his 4.
Yeah.
Barely over the rim there for John.
Squeak in. Oh,
Not wasting any extra effort on that one.
Right.
All right, so we had most of the drone flyovers ahead of time. This one was filmed by me, if you can't tell. So a little bit of a quality jump here. But anyway, this is hole 7A. This is part of the Monkey Island layout. Par 3, 254 feet, and it is an island hole. So this amphitheater here, it will have a basket right in the middle of it, right about there. And if you go OB, there's a drop zone short of it. Matt here is going big forehand. Checked up nicely. That is parked.
This hole is kind of, excuse me, it's kind of the Kansas version of hole 17 at USDGC.
Yeah, it's a gut check for sure.
Yes, 254 feet, nothing in your way. In theory, should be the easiest hole on the course, but the downhill factor, the island green factor, make this a very tricky shot. These guys all have that shot in their bag, but being able to perform like you're seeing there with Isaac going up and over, it's not as easy as it seems on paper.
I'm trying to figure out how Isaac's disc on hyzer lifted in that right to left wind.
Just Kansas things, man.
Just the wind tends to swirl down in this kind of bowl that it's in.
Yep.
This is one of those blue glimmer Lucid X felons from Kyle here.
Yeah.
Caught a branch was probably safe either way.
So this is the drop zone, probably 50, would you say?
Yeah, it's a long jumper for sure. Kyle's giving it a run, or that's Isaac. Ended up going just a bit past it. Josiah here, probably circles edge. Oh, caught left side.
So this is Isaac again.
Oh no.
Wow, that is worst case scenario.
And he's just re-putting because he wants the same wind, and then it drops.
No.
Oh, that is brutal.
Oh, you were talking about a 7 being like a lurking in the OB. Isaac. Oh, Kyle's getting nervous too. You can tell what
bogey, yeah.
Whenever that happens, you can tell it just kind of rattles the whole card.
Yeah, I bet you could hear a pin drop.
Oh. So is that a quadruple for Isaac there?
I think so, yeah.
Dang it.
Hole 8, moving on to hole 8, there's actually an alternative tee pad. It's to the right a little bit. It means that this shot, rather than being a pure hyzer, is kind of a slight turnover or a forehand, but it's still roughly 300 feet. I think 305 is actually right. And yeah, you'll see most people throwing the forehand at it.
Yeah, the basket's kind of straight in front of you from the tee pad, but just the way that the trees shape, it kind of forces either a sidearm hyzer or, like you said, a kind of gentle turnover.
It's a fantastic flick from Matt there.
Yeah, I expect sidearm to be the play that we'll see mostly, with just something overstable with like a felon and just let it go. John does not seem to agree.
No, he's going... Is that a Nova?
It looks like it.
And that's a bold play in this wind. Throwing a straight, very touchy putter. But he's executed it. He's safe. A bit short, but safe. This is that glimmer felon again. I don't know how he throws it that far. Those things just dive to the ground right away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic shot.
So overstable. Isaac looks a little tight. That needs to get down. Oh, good.
Saved by the wall.
Caught the wall.
Here's John. Oh, he had the height on it. Expected it to drop and just didn't.
Yep. And that's the thing about playing in the wind is it's just so hard.
It's so inconsistent.
Yeah. Isaac tried to get one back there.
Coming back in the opposite wind.
Oh,
just
no.
over the top.
Just back and forth. There we go. Just stop the bleeding as much as you can.
John here to save his par, yeah. Kyle here with a fantastic birdie.
That's an excellent tee shot for both of them. Him and Matt tapping in birdies there. You are... Anytime you can tap in, you're so happy.
Yeah.
You're so happy with that.
Hole 9 here is a par 3, 310 feet, and it's basically just as straight as you can throw it. A lot of players are going to be throwing a putter or a mid-range off this tee, just getting it flat and letting it coast straight. I bet you these guys didn't know about the forehand line, because there is, if you take a wide forehand and just skip it, you can get an open look at the basket from inside the circle on the left side.
Right. Matt went forehand there, but I don't think he was... I think he was trying to flex something up the gut. I don't think he was trying to hit that wide gap. Oh, what a kick.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
A fantastic shot from Kyle there. Another forehand.
Yeah, it looked like he just tried to smooth that one down there and just didn't quite get enough in it to kind of have it hold that Anheuser line.
Isaac pulled this over to the right. He's almost pin high, but too far right to really give it a run.
Yeah, easy pitch up there from Matt.
You got to love it when your decisions are easy. It's when you're at like 35 or 30 feet where it's like, it gets hard. Oh.
I was about to say right where Isaac is right there. That's kind of that range of like, I could maybe run this in the way that he's been getting breaks. Oh, would have been huge if that one stuck for him.
Yeah, huge momentum swing. Because like, another thing about playing when it's this volatile is you can make a comeback. If you get hot and you get some birdies, they mean a lot more.
Yep. Kyle. With the tap-in of all tap-ins.
Still a knee-knocker 12-footer.
Uh-huh.
All right, and that is it for our front 10 at the Monkey Island Open. We'll have the back 10 up very shortly, so click on our channel and check the videos. It's probably up by the time this one finishes. Thanks for joining me, Anthony. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Dynamic Discs for more content like this or other stuff too, I guess. We'll see you next time.